Alexis, I'm Shelton Krantz, the ADP.
Very nice to meet you,
It's great
Shelton.
to finally meet you.
Please have a seat.
Thank you. Yeah, the holidays are a busy time. I appreciate this time with you.
That's the one.
Let me give you my business card. You have any big plans over the holidays at all? Good time with family, business?
Not really. Of course, some time with my family, but
That's
really
great.
planning for a very busy season for us here.
Really?
So lots of work.
Oh, wow. Man, I can imagine. And from what I understand, you have about 300 employees, 10 locations?
We do.
That's
And
a lot to
hopefully,
manage.
if things continue to go well, we'd love to actually expand
That's
and
right.
add a few more locations.
Well, great. Well, I'm here to help you with that, with not only time management and also help expanding. So I know we only have about 15 minutes. I have set an agenda. I'd like to go over today, learn about you, your company, your payroll processes, and HR management. And at the end, if we find a fit between our two companies, we can talk about where to go next. How does that sound?
Sounds really good.
Great. Well, to start off, if you could start to describe to me your payroll process and walk me through the steps if you could.
Hope you're ready for this.
All right.
Our payroll process right now is very long and drawn out.
Okay.
Basically, starting with our employees, they actually manually record their own hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
So no time clock.
Time clock.
Wow, okay.
They actually put pencil to paper.
Right.
Write down the hours that they've done for the week. Their manager approves that, being pretty honest. And then everything is sent over to Patty, who is my main administrative person here.
Right.
Patty confirms that information. She actually has to call Paychex and give them all the information, all the payroll information. They send her back something to confirm it, and she kind of yays or nays if there's any problems. Right. Then they shoot things over to actually make the checks that come to me, and I physically have to sign all 300 of them.
Wow.
So quite a process. Very labor intensive, and it takes up a lot of our time. Oh, and when we started out and had less locations and a lot less employees, still seemed like a long process, but it was working for us.
Right.
But now as we have more employees, it takes a lot more time, and the amount of errors and issues that we've had to deal with have increased.
Right. Well, I know you left ADP about 5 years ago over price, and I want to address that. And just like you have grown in the last 5 years, we have grown as well. And we have a bunch of great packages that are bundled now, which has a built-in discount. And so I'd like to dive into that. But back on topic with the payroll process, just to make sure I understand, they manually handwrite it. They handwrite it with handwritten.
So there's definitely a form, but yeah, at the end of the day, there's still...
Really? And it's manually called in, too?
Yeah.
Do you ever have any errors with that? That seems like that could set you up.
We
really?
do.
What is the impact on your business of that?
It's a huge impact because if the error is not found before they run the check, someone's check can have too much money or too little money, and then we're trying to fix it on the back end. Imagine being an employee getting a check that's short some of your hours. It makes them pretty angry.
Oh, yeah.
And as a result, it has led to some turnover. Not a crazy amount of turnover, but I have great employees. They are definitely what allows me to continue to do well. And I've lost a few that I wish I didn't have to lose. And at the end of the day, the problem really wasn't my fault. It was because of some of the mistakes that our provider was providing.
Right. Okay. Well, first things first, the error. I know that's a big issue, and that's not uncommon. Just so you know, in the industry, the American Payroll Association states that in their research that over 1.2% of the total payroll cost actually goes to cost of errors. And I actually prepared this ahead of time, based on a business of your size for 300 employees. For 1.2% total of error equates to $28,000 at the end of the year. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
I mean, I'm sure you can see that is something we have to take care of.
Yeah.
That is important. And that is what we do at ADP. We strive to eliminate that error by automating systems with fully integrated payroll solutions and HR management, and we can do all of that for you. And we can dive in later on into the details of that.
Okay.
That's what we strive to do. I just wanted to show you an example of that, just to show. But you seem to be very aware of the implications of having that error, and that's huge. Okay, so that's the error. The next part of that, what I heard, is the actual traveling. The traveling to the 10 locations and gathering all of the time cards. That's cumbersome, and that
it is. It definitely, again, cuts into some time that I can have Patty working on some of our other administrative functions. I mentioned that we are definitely thinking about continually expanding.
Right.
However, if we're having such a hard time managing our payroll for the locations that we have, it would make no sense to throw more fuel into the fire and make it more difficult to do things.
Exactly. Well, that's one thing about ADP. We streamline things and make them simple. Our solution involves clock in, it's sent to ADP, ADP sends the check out, and if you choose to, you're more than welcome to look online, and we can have set up reminders for you to remind you if certain things come up, or if there's errors, we can have it sent. If someone checks in constantly too early, we can have errors sent to you and messages reminding you of that. So we can take care of all that and make sure it's streamlined, so it's simplified. And
now you mentioned that a lot of this is automated.
Right.
Now Patty is still going to be very involved with working through this new process.
Right.
Patty isn't very technologically savvy.
Right.
So I'm a little nervous about how she'll take all of this.
Okay.
And since essentially this is one of her, one of the largest things that she's going to work on for me, I need to know, like, how are we going to be able to help Patty at the end of the day?
Well, let me tell you, we're going to save her a lot of time.
Okay.
A lot of time where she can be spending doing other things that needs to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, 92% of Fortune 500 companies use ADP, and there's a reason for it. It's not that hard to use. It's very easy, and we will come in and train with you. And I'd actually like to sit down at another time, since Patty is in charge of that, and explain it to her and show it to her and see if it's something she'd be comfortable with. And that would be in a further meeting, just to make sure. Would that make you more comfortable if I actually got to show it to her and made her see how it worked and explained it to her? Would that?
I think so. Because even if I sat and explained some of the things that you're talking to me about, I could see her face probably getting a little red and not in a happy sort of way.
Exactly. So it sounds like making sure that she and Patty is in the loop and completely understands this is very important to you.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
We can do that. And another thing, I know we're back on the payroll process. Another thing you said when they're traveling, trying to compile all those from all the locations, all the pay cards. The APA, American Payroll Association, estimates that per pay card, and to travel to do that, for all of your employees, I have it right here, it takes 2.5 minutes per pay card per period. Now, with all your employees, this is based on your business size, what that equates to for her at the end of the year, the cost of that is $3,200, just the cost of compiling everything and getting it all gathered.
Yeah.
Now, that's not much by itself, but still, that's a lot. If we can
it adds into some of the other costs as well. Yeah.
Can you see that if we could eliminate that cost and make it more simplified and streamlined in the process, that could be a benefit to your company?
It definitely could be a benefit to our company, but then what is the counter cost that's going to come from you?
Well, I'll tell you what we do, and I know price is a main concern here, so, and what I would like to do is gather as much information, see what we can do to put together a package that can save you the most money and benefit your company as best we can. So if I can gather a little bit more information, what I'll do is put together a proposal, bring it back, show it to Patty, show it to you, and any other key advisors, and then from there we can go on with it. And then
that seems fair.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And one other area that I find that is very common among restaurant owners that I've worked with in the past, buddy punching. Are you familiar with that?
I am. Okay. Because we don't have a time card system.
Right. It's not technically buddy punching.
Yeah, it's definitely not punching, but I can see how it can still
handwriting
happen. Handwriting, knowing how your friend writes, and trying to cover.
Do you ever have a problem with that?
I'm hoping that I don't.
Right.
I haven't had a huge issue with it, I guess would be the better answer to that. But yeah, that's tough to combat the way that we're doing things.
It is. Well, we have a solution for that. And our integrated solution, what it does is it allows for you to not only monitor as well as Patty, because I know that you said Patty likes to be involved in that process, what goes on. And the APA actually estimates, I know it's hard to put a number on that, so just to help, I once again put together a number for you on the sheet. This is the APA calculator based on industry standards. Based on buddy punching and your business and the food industry, and as well as based on 300 employees, $75,000 is the cost to your business every year, because the industry standard is 5 minutes per day per employee is lost. Time theft.
Jeez, it sounds so small, and then it calculates to be this huge number.
Isn't that $75,000?
Yeah, I can hire a few more people.
Every day, 5 minutes, walk in and out.
Yeah.
Breaks, it adds up quick. So these things can add up very quickly, and we have solutions that can help you manage this better, keep control on it, and prevent this from happening, and in the end, save you money. And so what I would like to do with you is sit down and look at that and just compare it to your current processes.
Okay.
And what we've done today, just to do a recap real fast, I know I've talked to you about your process, and we've identified that errors it's error prone, and that the errors equate to a large amount that we can't afford to have happen in this business. And then from there, I know it's very important to you that Patty understands what's going on, and also is really keyed in on the key points and can understand the program for her to be able to fully utilize its full potential. And then lastly, I know that cost savings, price is the main concern, savings is a lot. And I've demonstrated with you the savings that we can accomplish by eliminating a lot of these tasks.
Okay.
And these right here can be, all these costs can be eliminated by integrating a solution that's automated by ADP, and that is our specialty. We can do that. So what I'd like to do from here with you is set a time that we can meet up with Patty, and from previous meeting with your secretary, she told me that your accountant is also involved in this process. Is that correct?
That is definitely true.
I'd like to meet with him, as well as Patty and yourself, and any other key advisors you'd like to include.
Okay.
Let's sit down. Let's look at your current process. Let's look at your current provider and compare it to my solution, and see if we can't save you some money and time in the process. And from there, we can decide to take the next step.
Well, I just have one thing that is on my mind and I'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
So I was with ADP 5 years ago.
Right.
And I know you've talked about a few of the changes that have occurred, but my biggest issue 5 years ago was my account rep or client or customer service, whatever you guys term that person as, wasn't very responsive when I had issues and I had questions.
Okay.
And that was the biggest reason why I decided to leave ADP and move to Paychex.
Really?
Now, I know some time has elapsed, but I want to feel comfortable that I'm not going to have that experience again.
Right. Well, to make sure I understand you correctly, it sounds like you expected better customer service and someone there for you in your time of need. Is that correct?
Yeah, and when I needed things, either I was leaving a message, and then that person was calling back, and maybe I was busy, and we're going back and forth on the phone. Eventually, the problems were solved, but the amount of time that could fall between that process sometimes was pretty insane.
Well, let me tell you something. We put together whole new things in the last few years. We've invested millions in research and development, and that was one of the things we had addressed. We have developed a HR Tools Center, where what we have is a center where you can call with any question about firing, about payroll, about anything that has concerned you with our process, and someone will answer, and we'll be able to address that issue and send someone out promptly to take care of it. And that's part of the package. If that's something that is a major concern of yours, I can definitely include that in the proposal for next time.
It's definitely a slight concern.
Okay. I can include that, because I wouldn't want that to turn you away from us at all, because I'm sure we can change that image of us. And we have completely changed things, and customer service is number one. So I'm sure we can find a way to satisfy everything you need. We do. Okay. So from here, like I said, I know we've gone over the errors, we've gone over that Patty has to be very involved. We've also gone over the cost savings. It's an investment and how much it brings in return. I think from here, we can meet with Richard, Patty, yourself. I'll put together a proposal with everything that you said and all the features that I think would best suit your company's needs. And then let's talk about it and see where it takes us.
Okay. I definitely think that makes some sense, and it can help us move forward in deciding if ADP is the right decision for us.
That would be great. Well, when would be an appropriate time? When's the most convenient for you?
Now, I know this is a little aggressive, but can you meet early next week, like maybe Monday?
Oh, yeah. Well, the holiday's right around the corner. Of course. It's more important to have this.
You're thinking exactly how I'm thinking.
Great.
So how about maybe Monday around 2 o'clock?
I can do it.
Okay, sounds great.
Alexis.
Thank you much, Shelton. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Gonna forget your stuff.
And you had to walk out.
I think it's up to you, as long as we're not still talking after the last ring, which I don't think is gonna come because you were less than 15 minutes.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.